Hello, concerned citizens of Clever. Here we go again. Another bond issue in April that was approved unanimously by our Clever board members Tuesday, the 12th of December 2023 for about 16.5 million this time with no clear plan and no clear need. The only thing that has been made clear is their intention to spend every bit of their borrowing capability with the new increased property tax assessments under, guess what? A no tax increase bond issue, which I will cover in the future videos, providing and showing how false that statement really is in so many ways. Spoiler alert. We currently will be paid up on our bond debt, and I can show it and I can prove it. Topics that we'll be covering in future videos. Why we are going into this bondemic and the funds they will soon be losing. Covering the recent numbers in students in this video. Suggestions for better and more affordable solutions. What you can do now to possibly affect change. Future videos we will be covering navigating the DESE website, that's Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, for Clever's bond debt and past debt with definitions of each account and balances. Where to find the information in the State Auditor's Office website for the origination of the past bonds, refinances, payments, and schedules. We'll be covering that as well. Also, the Raymond James finance proposal for the bond payments for this $16.5 million proposal. So just so you know, I've been following this, going to planning meetings for this proposition. I have went in front of the board expressing my concerns on this issue, also emailed them as well. The information I will be presenting is knowledge and awareness you should have anyway, showing you, not just telling you, where to obtain the information needed to be an informed voter. And this is all valuable information, some of which has been hidden in plain sight. We are going to go through all the perspectives on this issue, the plans, the history, and the debt currently, showing you how and where to find the information that will help you be that informed voter in April. Also, alternative solutions that could better benefit the community and school going forward, empowering the community with the needed understanding. So let's get this out of the way first. I don't hate the school. I think we're blessed with some wonderful administration that put a lot of time, energy, care, and love these kids and try to do the best job they can in the current climate. Mr. Breeden, in my experience so far, has been very helpful in answering questions and addressing issues. Also has shown nothing but kindness and respect. And if you don't know who Mr. Breeden is, that's our superintendent now. This doesn't mean we agree on all issues, but at least a conversation can be had. And being in his position, he can't always express what his opinion is or how he may really feel on a particular issue. I honestly don't know. But what I do know, it's his job to sell this bond. So make no mistake, I am coming from a place of understanding. At the same time, trying to educate on both sides of this issue, hopefully to come together for a better, more productive solutions. My concerns are with everyone, the school and community. Hopefully to have a conversation and possible ideas or better solutions that will create financial safety and security for the school and community. So Raymond James Bank is the lender that will be carrying this bond if it were approved. And Mr. Breeden both have stated getting the community to understand this bond issue is the challenge. Well, don't worry, I'm here to help the community understand this issue. So you're welcome. Challenge accepted. So what are we looking at? The proposal so far that has been thrown around is for expansions for the high school for an additional science room, space for band, repairs, of course, and safety and security upgrades. We can't have a bond without that. And more middle elementary classrooms. Also for absorbing the internal debt they carry, which is called lease purchase debt. Freeing up a 20-cent portion of that total levy amount, that's nearly $4.64 per $100 assessed valuations on property, to put it into operations. We will get into this in more detail in a later video, showing you as we go through parts of the finances and solutions, also some of the known reasons why most schools across the nation have or are currently doing bonds or levy transfers, going from pandemic to bondemic. The reason this is going to be in parts, it's too long and too much information to present in one sitting. It's a lot of data to digest. I even get cross-eyed and tired of hearing myself after a while. And there are many factors to why your school and board members go MIA, missing in action. Honestly, it really needs to have its own video. But I do feel it's necessary to at least touch on the subject because these bonds can make people angry. So moving forward, it's important to have some understanding of how and why these things happen. These board members, in their training from the MSBA, Missouri State Board Association, in the code of conduct, so to speak, encourages the disconnect of your board members from the community. So it's deliberate. They discourage your board members from having an individual opinion. They are to vote as a collective or one voice, even if they have a different opinion on a subject. You elect these board members thinking they will be your watchdogs, for the community, electing them and not really knowing what their interest, purpose, or agenda is. Who we put in these seats matter. This is the biggest budget in the community with the largest impact locally on your taxes. Now, these elected people are being absorbed into this environment where you, the shareholder, with your hard-earned dollars, are no longer a consideration. You end up just being considered a mule for funds, nothing more. And the psychological operation is astounding in these board meetings and in their training. Whoever has their ear is where they're going to lean and vote. So if you're feeling taken advantage of, well, so are many of your board members. Trust me when I say your board members are not getting the education needed from the MSBA to properly learn the finances of the school. So they are absolutely dependent on the source from which they get the information from. Rachel Simmons, the board treasurer, asked the bank rep speaking right before the vote questions on the proposal for some clarification, and she was the only one. That was about it. So I've had to study and learn this on my own, making phone calls to the state, county, learning definitions, more hours than I care to admit. These elected board members work, have lives, families too. Would you be willing to take the time to really learn and understand how all this works? It's up to the community to hold the schools responsible and make their expectations known. It's up to the community to know the debt they're in. And it's also up to the community to understand the consequences for or against any tax. So this is what I'm trying to help with. Finding the information is tasking, and considering I've already done the work, I want to share to empower the community with where to find the information with the needed knowledge to make better informed decisions in the future. You always hear it's for the children. Understand these are generally 20-year debts, and they usually ask for continuations long before the debt has been paid. So these added tax debts that are voted in may very well be your children's debts in the future. So you also have to think about the affordability when it comes time for them to buy a home. If you want to learn more about the MSBA, their Communist Manifesto is in the links below. It gets really interesting towards the middle, by the way. Also, this is not a government entity. I know it sounds like it. They are a private organization that, guess what, the schools pay dues to help and suggest school policies and lobby for every penny of your hard-earned money. Can't make this stuff up, folks. Also, Right to Win Ozarks, she does blog posts that covers a lot of stuff with the schools, like the MSBA influence, and also what is going on in the libraries, your local libraries. This link is also below. So, for or against this proposal, my suggestion would be to contact your board members before January. They do need to hear from you. Why I say this is because there will be an expense to drawing up proposed plans, putting on the ballot in January, not to mention the time and energy that's going to go into it. It was my understanding, and it was on the schedule, to do a survey that was never done as far as I saw for this bond issue. At the same time, these projects usually take years to put together, especially for large amounts such as this. And this one appears to be fast-tracked with no definite plans publicly shared as of yet to be voted on in just 5 months. That's something to think about. Okay, we are going to get into this. I'm done with my notes, my diatribe. Sorry. So we've got the Clever School District. As you see here, it's Clever K12.mo.us up here. Okay, we're going to go to district. We're going to go to Board of Education. I'm just going to show you a few things today and kind of get it out of the way. But as you see, these are going to be your board members. This is Mr. Peebles. He's the president. Now, this has all of them. It's taking forever to load. I don't know why. But it is what it is. That's Rachel Simmons that I was saying. She's the only one that really asks questions, but she understands finances too. So, Sean Eaton, Jared Monger, Brian Burke, and Lindsay Cameron. So that's your board members, okay? Now, if you want to email them, you can phone call or email. But as you see here, click on board member's name to send email. So down here, you see it's underlined, and then it'll bring you to your Outlook or whatever. So I just wanted to show you that real quick in case you haven't perused the website. Okay, we're going to go to board minutes real quick. So then I can show you on here, October board minutes. This is where there's a few things in here that I want to point out. There's that SB 190, and that did go through. It caps, our people that are on Social Security and are up at retirement age, where they no longer will have their taxes increase. It just caps it, with any more property tax increases. So that was good to see. And then also, Clever did get a grant of $150,000 for safety and security updates. So they've been fighting over what they're going to spend that on. I think they got it figured out. Okay, and this is a wrong date. You can get this. See if I can get this. There we go. That's better. So you can see it a little bit better. But here's the current enrollment. And total is 1,316. That changed. And this date's wrong. They did a typo. That's 2023. But real quick thing I was going to show you, free and reduced percentage, 31%. That means we do have some poverty. These taxes affect them as well. The affordability of living here. So you got to think about little Johnny and little Susie. Let's see. And there was one other thing that I was going to show you. Okay. Well, no, that was it, I think. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and we are going to go to desi.mo.gov, I think is what it is. Try that. Yep, that's it. Okay, see this school data here? Data dashboard. So you just kind of just hover over, and then I'll go to data dashboard. And then this nice interactive map will come up. You want to go down to Christian County. And over here, let's go and blow this up just a little bit. Might be a little easier to see. Okay. Go to Clever, because it'll bring up all the schools in that county. Okay, and this is our district snapshot. Current enrollment, PK enrollment. Now this was last year, that's not this year. Okay, so just so you know. But this is students per classroom, 15 to 1 ratio, 15 students to 1 teacher, 44,000, average teacher salary, administrator, 80,000. So that's a good ratio. Usually you see a good ratio is even 16 to 18, and we're below that. So student-teacher ratio is really good. Now, another place you go to data dashboards, and then you can do the preliminary enrollment 2023-24. So that is this year. They have this year's up. And that's going to bring us up to another interactive map. And you really got to know where you live. Because, see, as you see, okay, there's Springfield. Oh, I was at Springfield. See, and then we got to go down to Clever. And so, yeah, they're really small. See if I can get this larger so you can see it. Maybe not. Yeah, we're not. That's Missouri enrollment. Just defaults to that. Sorry. Ozark, Nixa, Clever. Okay. I don't know that I can zoom that or not. Can I make this bigger? Yeah, I can. I'll make it bigger. It's just going to be easier for you to see. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. Says Clever enrollment. Remember, it did say 1,316, so they must have had a few more students pop in, a little late to the party. So, as you can see here, though, there's actually been a reduction for the 3-year average, but honestly, it's actually plateaued, almost a hard plateau, because the reduction right now, that's in your PK. Well, PK is not an indication what your kindergartners are going to be. That can be wildly off. And right now, I think they're sitting at 65 students. You know, for all they know, they'll have 80, 90 students, you know, in kindergarten. So we can't even really go by that. We just had a reduction there. So the rest of the classrooms are pretty much holding steady. But what's nice about this, that was Missouri. Okay, good. So we click on Clever. I really wanted to show you this because this is a really neat map, and it gives you your 3-year averages and all that kind of stuff. So you get a really good window of where your school might be feeling pressure, you know, what the new students that are coming in, and by grade, because you got your PK here, and see that shows that decrease. Had 78 last year, now it's 63. But again, it is no indication of what you're going to have in kindergarten. Okay, so don't look at that too much. Okay, but as you see, 112 in the high school. See, this is where the pressure is well, it used to be 7, but it looks like they've dropped down. Okay, so right now the pressure, a little more pressure is in like the 8th through 12th. So the high school is feeling it, but it's temporary. So as you see, 6th grade, you got 77, 90, 94, 93. Now, 2nd grade, I think they have 110. I think that's where they had one more show up. So 77. So your 2nd grade is the only one that's popping over 100. That's why I say we are top heavy. So yes, the high school is feeling it, but it's temporary. That pressure is going away. And this was the pressure that was in the middle school that they were feeling. So the pressure is alleviating. We got a pretty decent sized kindergarten class, got like 99 there, but then 77, then it rose again in 2nd grade, but then it's below 100, it's in the 90s, and then 77 in 6th. So our numbers are just kind of in a holding pattern right now. And then PK through 6, because we were, so heavy in the higher numbers, so that number looks pretty low, 40, in the negative 40. And then that went up, 22 students for the average, that is. So for your grand total. But like I said, that 16, I think it was, students in the PK down from the previous year. So if you would add that into that difference 3-year average, say, that's almost as flat as you can get. It's like one from being even. So that's why I say we're not growing. It's just not showing that, like I said. But yes, the high school is feeling pressure, but we are not at capacity. And so I think that's all I really wanted to show you in this video, and because I wanted to make it as short as possible. And like I said, there's that. I think oh wait, there was one other thing. Sorry guys, gotta remember this stuff. All right, documents. I'm going to show you something. Go under community here. Now, this was a different survey. All right. Need for daycare after school program. Now, I already know that, well, I know they used to have a after school program. And daycare preschool after school program. I'm going to jump down here. There is also a need for daycare as there are limited options in our area. Many have very difficult time finding daycare. We would only be allowed to take in 32 children total based on state guidelines for infants, toddlers, etc. The goal is not to put any home-based daycare out of business, but to fill a void for those that can't find daycare. We would love to hire someone from the local providers if they are interested and then be able to provide them benefits as well. After-school daycare is always a request and necessity. We would provide an area in the building for that as well. All right, well, I've got a little bit to say about that. The resources and space for a daycare, with that, with what money will be used in providing for this? And it begs the question, is this the real reason for wanting to expand on the elementary middle school? I think it's a fair question, considering the population isn't an issue at this time. And this is another thing the MSBA promotes is daycares in schools, by the way. And we also have to consider, given the amount of homes that pay into Clever School District, which is approximately 2,750, we have to be careful how we spend money because it's a lot of financial pressure given we don't have much business and no industry to share in the expense of our schools. And we're still a small town with a smaller school. We can't afford to do everything for everyone. We do have to pick our battles. And the community did vote that down as well not long ago. So I have to question if this is something they are trying to slip in somehow. I think that's a fair question looking at that survey. And considering the fact Clever's not growing and births have been on a steady decrease for about 4 or 5 years now. And by the way, we're not the only one hitting a plateau in students. And how this plays out, going forward is a wait and see. I think this is why we're jumping the gun. We currently have 15 students per teacher, according to that report, and that's well within reason. And yes, the high school is full and feeling the pressure, but it's not at capacity. I think it's like probably at least around 40 or 50 below capacity. And behind them, the numbers drop. So, something to think about. Everybody's focused on the clown show in DC instead of, what's going on in their own backyards. But for now, folks, to be continued, and thanks for listening.